Time travel in TV shows and movies is a weird plot device that's been used very well in some things and not very well in others. For example, the Terminator films. So much time travel, so many plot holes. From the third film onwards, each film cancelled out the last one. It just got more and more absurd, and there was nobody really keeping an eye on how things would have affected earlier films. They tried to sort it all out, but again, they messed about so much that it didn't work. Then there's other films that use it very well, like Back to the Future and Bill and Ted, for example. Comedic type films, but their use of time travel as a plot device worked very well. They're using time as like a device to round the stories. I know with Back to the Future it was supposed to be one film, and then with the success of it they made the other two, but they kept everything linear with it. They talk about the science a bit. Other films that use time sort of differently, it was like the time loop, is like Groundhog Day and Edge of Tomorrow, two completely different films, but they use a time loop and it's stuck in a certain amount of time. Groundhog Day did it very well with the fact that it was a comedy. The way Bill Murray plays it is at the start he's just insane with being stuck, and then he just learns to live with it. And the fact that he goes and he learns the piano and learns these things and does all this and does all that, that's to show how long he has actually been stuck in this time loop. And when you look at it that way, it sort of becomes a bit of a horror film, because like, how long was he stuck? On the opposite scale, you've got Edge of Tomorrow, where he's living this bit and he tries to change it, and he changes bits here and there and he gets further and further, but then he just keeps dying. It shows how the time loop can be used as a comedy or a thriller or a horror. And then you've got the one where it's not really time travel or a time loop, it's somebody getting used to be put back into a memory with source code. And the way that played out, I thought that was really, really well done. It's sort of done in the same way as X-Men Days of Future Past, where they're putting somebody's memory back into their past self. With X-Men, they're using a mutant to put Wolverine back into his past self. With source code, they're using machines and technology. Both of them, it's not really using time travel as a plot device. That is what's needed to be done. Unlike in Avengers Endgame and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., who use time travel. The way they use the time travel is different. In the last series of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the whole thing about trying to stop Hydra throughout the past, so that anything they do can have massive effect on the future, but they're just trying to keep the timeline the way it was and stop Hydra from messing about with it. There's also Quantum Leap. Sam Beckett travels through time via other people. He ends up in their body and has to stop something from happening that can change history completely. The way that was done, I mean, it ran for 5 series. It was clearly a great way of showing different parts of history. Every day you're hoping that he gets home and you're hoping that things don't go wrong for him. Then we get to things like Lost and Heroes. The way they used time travel, it was linear because it had already happened. When Lost got to the point where it's like, here's the past, here's the present, the people in the present could see pictures from the past and they see people they know, and that's how they find out that it is linear. So it's not really used as a plot device, it's just they tried to further the story by using time travel. And again, with Heroes, the way they used it worked very well because it wasn't like they were doing it just to try and rejig something that had happened. That was the actual story. They'd written that in for that specific reason. I'm trying to avoid spoilers for things in case people haven't seen any of these things and they want to watch them. And then you get things like Looper. The whole thing is they send someone from the future into the past to be killed. It's a weird, strange plot device. It's an enjoyable film. And then we've got probably the most famous thing to use time travel is Doctor Who. The entire show is based around travelling through time and space, going to wherever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants. The whole time travel thing isn't actually used as the plot device. It's not about the time travel, it's about the adventures that they have. It just so happens to be that they go to different time periods and different places in space, but it's actually a lot more than time travel. It's the story of the characters. There's another time travel movie called Primer from 2004. That is more of a science fact movie rather than a science fiction movie. That goes into the actual mathematics of time travel. There's a lot of physics and stuff about how it would work and how they would do it and stuff like that, and I didn't understand all of it. It was still quite an enjoyable film. It was an independent film, it had basically no budget, but it did really, really well. You should probably give that a go if you're into your time travel. I'm going to add a few honourable mentions to the time travel saga. Obviously you've got Star Trek, who use time travel now and again throughout all their media. 12 Monkeys, Time Cop, and then you get Harry Potter, which used it in the third film, and then never again. And then the last one that I'm going to mention about time travel is Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 3. I love the Evil Dead films and the Ash versus the Evil Dead. There's probably hundreds and hundreds more that I haven't mentioned, but I will just say this before I finish up. If you have time travel in your TV show or movie, or even your books, they will not be released in China. China have banned anything to do with time travel. On that note, see ya.